I have no choice now but to work for myself. I've been looking for a job for almost 6.5 months when I got laid off in November of 2023. And at this point, my unemployment benefit is about to run out in 2.5 months on August 10th. And I've still yet to find a job. So I feel like I have no other option but to try and make this entrepreneurship work. So a few months ago, I've been cold applying to different jobs that I found on LinkedIn that I thought I was qualified for, but I barely got any callbacks. So I decided to try something new since cold applying to job wasn't really working at all, and I got less than 1% callback. So I decided that why don't I try and get some referrals and get some interviews that way. And I was actually pretty hopeful going into it. So I spoke to about 5 people who ended up referring me to their companies, and I applied to an average of 3 jobs per referral, but sadly I barely got any callbacks there as well, which is discouraging because I thought I would get maybe 5 callbacks, 1 for each company, given that I applied to 2 positions that I thought I was a good fit for, and then I just applied to 1 additional position that was a little bit lower than my qualification, just as my safety. But yeah, I was definitely disappointed by the results. And I know that with job searches, you don't want to get too caught up in the emotional side of things, but it's really easy to get burnt out just applying to hundreds of jobs and then just getting rejection letter after rejection letter. Like, it's almost impossible to separate yourself and not take some of the rejection personally after a while. Especially if you interview somewhere where you thought was a good fit, and then they say that they ended up going with someone else who was a better fit than you. But since I can't really find jobs at this point, I feel like I have to go all in on trying to make this YouTube thing work and start this accidental entrepreneurship journey. And it's kind of weird to call myself an entrepreneur or anything, thinking that I own my own business or something, especially since I make $0 on YouTube right now. But my unemployment benefit is running out soon, and my situation is that I have 12 weeks remaining, which pays me around $441 per week after taxes, which is actually a pretty significant amount if you don't have a job. But for me, creating personal finance content on YouTube has always been something that I've wanted to do. And I would ask myself, if I were to retire today, what would I want to do with my time and energy? And it's always been YouTube, because financial literacy has been so important to me in my life. And it's an important topic for me because I grew up poor with barely any money. So just having financial literacy and pursuing financial independence has always given me a leeway to not worry about money anymore, and has given me the mental space to know that I don't have to keep working a job that I don't like for 30 years. And no matter what, I always have an option. So I can work a job because I want to, as opposed to having a job because I have to. Another thing that financial literacy has done for me is that, given that I didn't really have much money growing up, I became really greedy and stingy when it came to spending money, especially for other people. And I didn't really like that about myself, because that's just not the person I want to be and even proud to be. And knowing that I have savings and investments stored up, I could be a little bit more content with my money, so I'm not in a constant state of scarcity. So I could give myself a little more room to let go of my greed and try to challenge myself to give more and not let the money hold me back from something I want to do. And although I'm not retired right now, this unemployment has given me an opportunity to pretty much take this YouTube thing seriously a lot earlier than I had planned and expected. And I've been going through a lot more challenges than I expected, and it's been a lot more mentally and emotionally challenging than anything else. And with the quick pause, if you are enjoying this video and getting value out of it, it'll be awesome if you could like this video and make sure you subscribe if you're interested in personal finance and financial independence content. And with that, I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll make sure to keep pumping out helpful content for y'all. And as a bonus for watching this video as well, I created a budget template for people interested in getting their money in order. So you could check that out for free using the link below. And the first challenge that I face as a new entrepreneur is the pressure to make money on my own, because I don't make money if I don't sell anything. And I have to actively sell something, which is a lot different from just working a 9-to-5 job and getting paid on a bi-weekly basis. But with entrepreneurship, what you put into the business directly impacts your earning potential. So you have to quickly learn how to sell yourself and just the value that you provide. And you can't just coast and take it easy, which is a lot different from the corporate world, because when you're in that, it definitely has its downsides, but it's also desirably stable. And your weekly income doesn't fluctuate. So you could just work a 9-to-5, clock in and clock out, get paid consistently every week without the pressure of having to improve yourself and having to manage your time and energy with every hour that you work. And I started this channel in 2020, and I post videos about personal finance, and at the time some self-improvement content. It was pretty much a hobby that I would do on the side, and I never had the pressure of trying to make a living from YouTube. Now the second challenge for me is the daily distractions with my phone. And when I got laid off, I would honestly use my phone upwards of 8 to 10 hours a day, maybe even 12 hours. And I always had the habit of using my phone a lot, especially during my commutes or when I get home from work. And I would convince myself that I deserve this break with my phone because of the work that I did on that day. But I've been trying to experiment with myself on how I can be more productive during the day. And I realized that it's a lot easier for me if I don't allow myself to use my phone in the first place. Because once I get myself distracted, it's just an upward battle for the rest of the day. So it's just better if I don't get myself into it. And it's just actually sad the lack of control that I have when it comes to my phone. And the third challenge that I've been dealing with is that I'm also a pretty big procrastinator. And I'm honestly so bad at work without accountability from my team or just a hard deadline from a client. So to deal with my procrastination right now, I've been having a daily accountability with a friend who's also looking for a job at the moment, where we share a daily checklist of things to do through the Note app. And I've been having a weekly deadline to post one video a week. And those two things have been keeping me on track just to chip away at what I need to get done daily. But I would say I'm definitely still a work in progress. And what's been really interesting is that I learned that procrastination is just more of an emotional avoidance, where when I think about how much work I need to get done, I already get emotionally exhausted. So rather than just starting work, it's just much easier for me to emotionally push things off. Another helpful thing that I've been trying to do is to work on the biggest and the most important tasks of the day just first thing in the morning, so that I could get some momentum for the rest of the day and just feel good about it. But when I push the important things just until later, I create this mental hurdle that gets higher and more daunting as the day goes by. But if I work on it on the first thing in the morning, then I don't even have the chance to think about how hard it is to get started. And these tasks just get easier and more enjoyable once I get started. So it's definitely been a tough last few months because I feel like this is the hardest I've worked at a very consistent basis. But I do feel like I'm getting better and getting more work done and just being more productive. And at the end of the day, I've learned a lot about myself during this time. So I'll be also interested to see how things really play out with this. But I also want to hear from you if you are in a similar boat where you have to start looking at other options because of this tough job market. So let me know in the comments below. And if you are interested in knowing why it's a tough job market and why it's so hard to find a job right now and when things might actually start to get better, I talk all about that in this video. So make sure you check out that next and I'll see you guys there.